Alright, hey everybody. Wow, it's been a while. I hope everyone's had a great week. Well, as some of you might know from my posts, this week has not been the best for me, but it's okay. I can't really complain too much because my house didn't flood from the storm, so I guess I should count my blessings, but anyway, let's move on to some development. So let's see, I need to catch myself up because I actually haven't looked at the game in over a week either. Okay, so I think it looks like what I was planning to do was update the Lua registry to work between phases, mostly because we want this block position function to work during map generation, and at this point in time the Lua registry is not created yet. So I actually think a better way to do it would actually be to create the actual Lua registry object and insert it into this game data class, or rather maybe just in the Lua environment. Okay, so let's close all but this, and I want to see when this environment is created. We'll find all references. So it's null here. Oh yeah, when we destroy everything. Okay, so this is where it's set, and then where is this Lua environment created? I'm guessing by the Lua loader. Okay, right here. Oh yeah, so when we start to load a mod, or right before we load mods, we actually create this object. So I think the Lua environment will actually just have a reference to the Lua registry as well. So let's keep this organized. Oh, it's called the Lua object registry. And again, if you're new to the stream, this Lua object registry just basically holds a reference to all the different classes that will provide to Lua functions, so that we don't have to create a new one every time. Let's call it the object registry, and then we'll create it right here. So no, I think this will be okay. But the Lua environment actually doesn't have a reference to those objects yet. But I think yeah, we'll have this class still hold this reference, but I guess it can't create it during the constructor, which is fine. Yeah, this doesn't need a setter. Oops. Music was a bit loud for me, so let me know if the balance is okay for everybody else. But so at some point we'll need to call public void create object registry, and we'll have to send it game data. Oops. Expecting it to autofill that, but I guess we don't have a reference to the right namespace yet. And then also the battle and the battle log. And then we would just call object registry equals new database battle log. And then on dispose, we'll also just remove our reference to this registry. I guess we should also assert here that a registry has not been created already. Okay, so what this assert function does is it throws an error if this condition is set to false, so we want to throw an error if the object registry does not equal null. Or wait, yeah, so we want to throw an error if the object registry does not equal null, so we type equals null here, and then object registry already created. Okay, so where should this function be called? How about it'd be definitely during the map generation, I guess. Or I mean during, yeah, the map generation, but it needs to be sometime before we actually call the map generation functions. Maybe here. So probably at the very end before we return. Okay, so database, Lua, create object registry. Alright, then we have to give it a reference to everything. Okay, so that's all good. Alright, so now we're going to need to change a lot of the Lua callers. It'll actually make it simpler. But let's see. In the map phase, at the moment we have this a variable subscription to get a Lua object registry. We don't need to do that anymore, we can just use the reference in the database. So it would just be database Lua, oops. Something like that. So I just need to go and change all these other classes that call Lua scripts, because I think they all use that old variable. Luckily it's pretty simple. This, oh no it does actually. Okay, but here we don't have a reference to the game data, so I'll need to get that real quick. That is fine. Okay, this is the asynchronized request, so I don't think this... Oh, it does actually have the Lua registry. What does this class use it for? Maybe the stat request? Oh yeah, because it needs to get the stat object. Okay, so that's okay. And then this will actually change quite a bit. So this is basically a special class that really just creates this global battle state. Don't need, I think I'll come back to that. Okay, so this doesn't have the Lua registry at all. Here we have 3 references to it. And 3 here as well. I'm kind of breaking my rule because I usually say if I have to drill down into an object multiple times, I try to pull it out. But I just want to do this quick because it's not very exciting. Okay. So now, let's go back. Where's the script manager? Okay, Lua environment, that's what I wanted. And then also this interface manager. So I think in the Lua environment, we can go ahead and just create the global right when the registry is registered right here. So let's say set global block. Let's just copy this, so I'll use the same naming. And then really all it's going to call is object registry get board position. Okay, so it doesn't have go to end. That's okay. Yeah, everything in here just uses a data index, so I won't make an escape or what do they call it, a separate call for this that takes 3 integers. So the way, again, since this is I'm kind of doing this wrong. Let's see. Yeah, let's actually make this a separate function after all. So, private board position, create, or let's call it get board position. And it will take the Lua column first. Lua row and Lua layer. Okay, and for some reason you have to cast these methods to get it into the correct object for the compiler to recognize it. Because I think if I deleted this, it would actually, yeah, I would say it's not the doesn't have the right signature, even though it still returns board position and takes 3 integers. So that's just a quirk of the Unity C# compiler. Okay, and again, since these are all Lua indexes, and since Lua is a 1-based array, or I guess array index language, and C# is 0-based, you need to subtract 1 from each of these indexes to get it to work correctly. And I think that should be it. So now I can actually delete this. Oops, not both. Okay, so that takes care of that. And now, let's see. When we go to the map generation, shouldn't need to change anything else. Oh. Where is it? Map creator, maybe? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we don't have this Lua registry anymore. I guess I'd already started updating it a little bit, and we don't even need this because that is by default already in the global namespace for mod scripts to call. all I need to do. Because really the only problem was that the block positions needed the Lua registry, and the Lua registry wasn't created by this point, but now it will be. So let's see. Why was the Lua registry created before? Because I don't need to... Oh yeah, so we had this, but now I can just delete it. Oh yeah, because it's like creating a new one right there, but I actually just wanted to use what's already in the database. Which should be right here. Okay. Everything set up. I actually don't have to do this in a separate update function. I can just set it right here, because since we're not messing with components. Okay, that simplifies it. But I don't need any of this. It's really, this class is kind of redundant now. I wonder, is there a better place I can set this up? I'll leave it for now. So if I play the game, it should be happy, but okay, there's still some bugs here. Oh, that's because it still uses the old Lua registry reference. Oh yeah, because we can't do it like this, so we actually need to get a reference to the Lua registry here. Oh right, Lua object. I keep forgetting that's what I actually called it. Okay, and so now instead of calling this function, we'd actually call return registry get board position, and then we just pass it our hex position on the map. Okay, so now everything that calls this is going to need to be updated for the new parameters, which means this will also need the Lua registry. Which means I'll need to get a reference to it right here. And really this board generator is kind of like its own object registry because it keeps track of these blocks. I think I'll leave it like this because they're temporary and only used during this map generation, so it'll be fine. And then the map creator will just need to pass the registry down here. So let's make sure no more errors, and then we can try to run the game. Okay, got an error. Exception in map generation function, attempt to call a nil value at line 10. So let's take a look. Okay, so this get block, or maybe block position was, oh yeah, because this should be board position now. let's try it one more time. Exception map generation, no value, still line 10. So I guess either get block or prototype. Or maybe the board position is not getting set up. So one way we can test that is we'll print board position, and this should just return a function to us. And if it's nil, then of course we know that that's the problem. Okay, so probably made a typo somewhere. Or actually, is this created before the battle was created? That could be, huh? No, this is the wrong thing. I want the flow. So, oh yeah, so create map is called before setup battle. Okay, so that's the problem. I got the order messed up. So really, I need to move this somewhere else. I guess the map creator can do it, huh? This should not remove that. Okay, well, how's the read save file? But I think that's actually skipped. Maybe just... let's see. Maybe something at the very end of the loading phase can do it. That might be easier. Hey Ice Boy, how you doing? It's been a while. So maybe just the asset organizer should do this. That's probably the best idea. So we don't have a reference to the battle or battle log, which is a little annoying, but I guess that's okay. So at this point, the battle and battle log will actually have no data in them, but it's okay to go ahead and create them now. Doesn't really cause any problems. That way, yeah, this will have a reference to them for when they do get filled out with actual data. I'm doing pretty good, Ice Boy. It's been a long week, but glad to finally get back to the project. So did I remove the reference in the battle data creator? Okay, yeah, I did. So this should fix all the problems. Oh, we actually got a null reference. I'm gonna move up to the top. Okay, so yeah, I got a Lua function, which is fine. Okay, that's interesting. So the thing is, we don't have a board index yet. And that's because this field is nil, or null at this point, actually. So how do I want to take care of this? Let's get rid of some of this stuff. So what I need to do, well, I guess the object registry I already removed. So what I want to do is right here. See, this board is null, so I guess the board position should know. So maybe it shouldn't store the data index, because at this point the board, like the size of the board is actually variable. Well, I don't think it's really that much more inconvenient to use like a hex position instead of the data index. They are easy to transform between each other. Okay, let's call it hex. And okay, so I will need to change the way this is done a little bit. Let's rename this to hex position. And then we'll just return that. And then I guess we'll have another Saloon Sharp hidden so that Lua scripts can't access them, and this would be the data index. And so if board does not equal null, then we can actually figure what this would be. Return hex to board index. Okay, that's all. And otherwise, I guess we'll just return -1. Or we should actually throw an error. Not supported exception. This should actually never be called during Lua script, so we can. This is be some problem that I'd done. So board not initialized. So no index is valid. Makes sense. I started a tutorial project after this episode. That sounds cool. What are you gonna make? Oh, I had to type new. That's what I forgot to do. What day was my last live stream? I think it was last Thursday, so it's been over a week. Okay, so below. Yeah, that's fine. I guess I don't need to do this anymore. Let's see what else. So that looks good. Just on the basics, you haven't been on in a while. Oh, okay, well, gotta start somewhere. Okay, so we kind of need to flip these. So on this, so actually when we return a hex position, that will be the actual that will return the actual new object. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why that was giving me such trouble. And then here we'll actually just return get board position. That will be hex position from board index. Which will of course return or throw an error if the board has not actually been created yet. Okay, so that should be fine. So we just kind of had to reverse how these board positions were stored their information. I guess it makes a little more sense because we can see we never actually use the data index anywhere. So let's see if there's any problems the compiler finds. Looks like everything compiled fine. Oh, and the map generated. Cool. Don't see any problems. Let's go through a turn and see how far the game gets. I'm actually not sure what happened. Okay, so I got an error right here. Iterating. Okay. So the after turn effect untag cannot send while it is iterating. Okay, so effect Lua call parameters. So basically, when this message fired, it was already firing. I bet I just got the wrong message somewhere. So let's see, where was this called? The after turn effects action creator. Okay, so we actually got all the way down to the after turn effects. And I'll delete that print because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so now we're on the actual map again. Right, let me get a drink of water real quick. Okay, so what was the line? After turn effect. Call, oh yeah, internal message, I was reading the wrong thing. Message claim, and yeah, action creator at 56. So handle active index. Okay, so I think what we have to do actually I think what was happening was we call this message, the after turn effect finishes in 1 frame, and then it calls this before it ever returns from here, and then it calls this handle active index, and then we send this message again, which is forbidden. Okay, that's a little bit of a shame, because I was happy that we could do these we didn't have to do 1 per frame. Maybe a better way to do it. How would I do this? Is right here, we would do like a while loop. And maybe we check to see if this index increments. Or we could change this eval state. So running, change it to running, and I guess received, and then here, instead of calling this thing again, we'd actually set the eval state to received, and then here we do something like, I'll do a for because I don't want it to have a super long loop. Oops, I did that wrong. So I equals 0, I less, come on, less than 2000, and eval state is not equal running. So why does this? Oh, I see. So right now it just kind of Yeah, here was the first update. It just kicked off the chain, and then it would just call the next one right after this, but as we see, that doesn't work anymore. So I actually need to set this switch. So if, okay, we don't have to do an if actually. It can just be as long as, this won't run at all if eval state equals running. So it already counts as an if. Set, we want to turn off this receiving tick calls, so before we call on complete, what is it, tick helper, set this to false, and that will signal the game not to call this method for us anymore every frame. I guess that also is set to false here, but it's not going to cause any problems to do it twice. So I need to make sure eval state, I guess there should be something else like call next. Actually, and we only want to do this when eval state equals call next. Cancels Lua, but now we actually only need to cancel it if the eval state equals running. Okay, so this should work now. And now we can call many of these Lua scripts in one frame, so we won't have to do, because I'm imagining that some more complicated mods will have many different after turn effects, so we don't want to have to do one a turn. Going to slow down the battle flow quite a bit. Okay, so now create. So what happened? Turn ordering. Why did the execution phase is set to inactive right there? Oh, okay. It tried to move them again? I guess I need to... Oh yeah, so I should clear out the actions before I get this far. How's the game going? It's going pretty well. We've almost gotten through a whole turn, which is something I've been working on for about a month to try and integrate Lua scripts into the actual turn flow, so I'm happy that we're almost done. But as we can see now, it's trying to execute the move actions again, because I guess I didn't clear out the action list. I should probably do that after I execute them, just so they're not hanging around. So where is that? So this just executes an action, it doesn't like loop through everything. Named class is the one that actually calls this, so probably this uncompleted we can go ahead and set the actions value to false. So I'll go ahead and claim this variable. And I'll set actions value to null. here because we've already executed everything. I think this is okay. Let's see. Yeah, because after we execute them, we don't deal with it anymore. And we write the actions to the game as they happen, or to the save file as they happen, so there's no reason to keep them in this list. So I think the game will complain to me about having 2 claims on this variable, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that right now. Oh, here's right. Alright, I'm trying to say the right class. So it's actually a tag. So we just need to set unlimited claims. Probably unlimited subscriptions too, so I'll put it down here actually. Okay, so this basically just means that for this variable, it can have unlimited number of objects who want to change the value, and unlimited number of objects can be notified when the value changes. That's what that means. If I didn't set that, the game would not let me claim it on 2 different objects, and the reason that I do that is to just try and encourage me to have oops, but it looks like I actually did it wrong, but the reason I do that is to try and have better code design on stream, because I try not to spend too much time on it just because it's not super exciting, but with this restriction on me built into the code, it kind of just makes it our good code generate organically, I've found. Or generate's the wrong word, but it kind of helps me write good code by default. Okay, so it looks like... Okay, well, so I'll try to move the players again. So where's this debug called? Right here. Yeah, so it's definitely calling that. So let's look back up. Oh, I see what's going on, I think. Okay, so what's happening actually is that the game is trying to sort the players again, and it's like calling basically the same classes that we called before, or the same Lua scripts that we called before. So it's calling the sort players, which obviously doesn't make sense because for the after turn effects we're not trying to sort the players, that they're already, the effects are already sorted and they're not even tied to a player, so it's just kind of doing it with leftover data. And then it's actually just calling this function again because that's just leftover in memory. So what I really want to do now, I thought I already fixed that, but I guess not. Okay, so it's the ordering, phase manager, let's close all of that, and then, so what does this call when it's done? Generated ordered actions. I think that's probably the wrong thing, isn't it? Yeah, it should be on after turn effect actions generated. I think that was the problem. Let's see what happens when I do that. So it skips all the way to send a server. before, but it was for some reason skipping to the player sort phase, which we don't need to do. I guess it was this regenerate target options, but so let's try it again. That might be all we need to do, but there could be some other code that is causing issues. Oh. Already in use. Play a message. Oh. Yeah, so I tried. Oh, I did already do this correctly. Okay, so let's do this again, and I'll just look back through the logs very carefully and try and see what's going on. Do I have... Okay, I do have prints there, so I'll need to look for them. Okay, so let's look back through here. So it's still sorting them, which is a little weird, but what prototype? Okay, so this is still in the choice phase, which is fine. So this is the first sort, which we actually do want to happen because it needs to sort the players for their chosen actions. Okay, so and then it's getting the actions. Quest server ordering, and then choice execute. So that's when that... Oh, I see. So this is correct. Yeah, I was... I thought I got farther than it really did. So in a turn effects ordering calculation, and... Okay, so what's happening actually is that it gets to the turn effects ordering and the create after turn effect actions phase, but nothing happens. So maybe I forgot to actually create this class, which I should have done before I took such a long break. Oh, I did do it. Okay, so that's not the issue. Oh, but of course we never saw any of these print lines, did we? So that means the game is not actually calling the Lua. Which means something that I changed here to fix that iteration lock caused an issue. So let's call next. So let's do a print. Oh, maybe I didn't set up the Lua caller class correctly. It looks okay. Yeah, that's right here. But did that ever get called, actually? Doesn't look like it because it doesn't create any more. Yeah, it never says that a new asynchronous script was created. Okay, so this never happens. So that must mean that something like this never gets called. Or the active index could be messed up. Okay, so let's I'll just put a debug log right here. Editor, Unity engine, debug log, and I guess I'll just log the val state variable every frame and just watch as that changes. Okay, so yeah, something is going wrong because yeah, it's not being called every frame at all. So let's do something here to make sure that this is even called. Oh. Yeah, this is the wrong phase. Okay, I'm surprised that we didn't get any problems earlier. Yeah, so that wasn't even running at the right time. It was actually running at the same time as some of the other scripts. But I guess since they didn't actually do anything, we never noticed. Yeah, so now it's saying running forever. Which is a problem too, because it shouldn't. It should stop eventually. So it says Lua after turn effect that does nothing. So then the next frame it just says running, running, running. But so we get this return and it should call the next Lua script. Oh, which it does. After turn effect that moves. Okay, so this is actually working right. Is all these. Oh yeah, I did print the monster out. Okay, so the script is not ending. So what's happening here? So after effect does nothing, it says script yielded true. And then script 13 complete. Yeah, so that's fine. But for some reason, I guess maybe I'll state like something didn't match up here. Maybe the effect index was wrong. So we still get the parameters here, and that's... Oh, because I never set the effect index in the result. That's kind of a big deal. So it's always null. Parameter dot effect index. We just pass that value on. And that is precisely so objects can know which or which object the result corresponds to.
There is no catharsis. My punishment continues.
Okay, so now it's stopped. Choice phase option. Oh, so it actually went through a whole turn, it looks like. Okay, and then this is the new turn script, maybe? Yeah, because it went through the status subphase. So now I guess I could choose to move again. And here... Okay, we got an error. It's not that surprising. Attempt to index a nil value at line 20. Oh, that's not gonna give me anything useful. Oh, the save. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the stat right here is nil. That's kind of strange. I bet I can look back up and see what the issue was. It'd be nice if I said create a new async script, it had a name to it, but I don't know if there's any way I can get the function name from the Lua closure, unfortunately. So I'd have to pass it along separately. Okay, so yeah, now we're in the sort subphase, and that's when things start going wrong. So Lua requested speed for the gold monster, and then requested speed for silver. And so then it yielded, and the script yielded nil. That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, if it yields nil, then that just means it wants the next, or the first stat requested. But for some reason, resuming script. Oh wait, it says resuming script 22 with user data, but yield complete nil. Oh, so that means the statistic is nil, not the return value. So what would cause that? I guess let's go look. So where is that class? Async request handler. Okay, so yeah, everything, I guess we're done with after turn effects, and the status phase worked perfectly. There's nothing to change with that. It's been a long time since we worked on it, so I'll just do a recap. It's the last part of a turn, and all it does is it, on the update phase, it checks to make sure every monster, well, it updates each monster's alive status and then each player's alive status, and then it checks to see if any player has won. So basically it just ties up the whole turn. And yeah, everything worked fine there. I don't think there's anything I need to change about that. I think I already implemented all the anti-cheat here that I need. I guess one thing I should do is later on, I made sure that the server didn't like say that we sent it a message that we didn't actually. So maybe I should add that, but I want to fix this Lua thing first. Actually, we need to make an after turn effect function that actually creates an action just to make sure that that's working before we move on. So status phase I think is already up to date. So let's just add message spoof anti-cheat to status phase, which is what I was just talking about. Okay, so this after turn effect moves. It should check to see if any monster at this position, and then it will tell it to move one position to the right, or actually left. So let's, instead of printing the monster, let's print the position, so that way I can tell if there's a monster actually in the right spot. So it did go all the way through like normal. Okay, so 2, 3, 2, and 3, 1, 3. Let's just close that so it won't ask me that every time I move in here. So I needed to get to 2, 3, 2, but it didn't move me. So that means that there's some issue. Okay, well, that's good to know. This is 2, 3, 2. Maybe this equals function doesn't work. That could be it. It could be something that simple. I should probably go through and add equal. Yeah, so I don't have an equals function here or the equals operator. Okay, so I forget how. I think it's like public static operator equals equals. Oh, actually, wait, it's a static function, so it goes to. What did I like about that? Oh, right, the type. So, public static operator. Cool. I forget the exact syntax here. Something like that. Okay, so it just wants me to have a matching, not equal. What would generate that for me? Looks like not. Okay, now it's just saying they don't return a value. So all I need to do here is say return a dot x equals b dot x. Actually, I'm not sure if I implemented the equals operator here either. Okay, I did, but it doesn't. Oh wait, I did it wrong. So I want to go to the hex position. Okay, I did here. And this return a dot hex is not equal b dot hex. It's kind of weird. It seems like it could automatically have this not equals by just negating whatever the equals equals returns, but I guess for optimization this is better. Now do I want to have, okay, yeah, this is, yeah, I was about to say, do I want to have an object.equals function and then the hash code? Oh, this is kind of nice. I've never tried this before. Is that gonna automatically do that for me? That's kind of cool. Where's the get hash code? Didn't do that for me. Okay, and it even does a little hash code for me. That's kind of cool. I don't know how good this hash code is, but it's probably better than anyone I could write off the top of my head. So before I go any further, let me just make sure this hex position has a get hash code. Okay, it does, and it's the one based off 3 integers. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so Well, actually, there's no reason to do this. I could just use the actual hex positions hash code. Although it is nice that it tries to get you a good one. Okay, so anyway, now all that is taken care of. I should probably do that for a lot of these different Lua interface objects, like the ability. This doesn't even have anything in it, but definitely the monster. I'll just copy this and then we'll generate our own. So, monster A. Let's take a second to do this real quick. So data index. Code. So we want to just use data index and implement iEquatable. I guess I'll have these all together. Indent for me nicely. So I can pretty much copy this. So let's see what else. I guess just the player and the statistic would need this. So I'll go ahead and add it as well. This is a good question. I guess these should be mood sharp hidden. Well, I mean, it's not like no, these can stay. It doesn't cause any problems. I mean, I don't know why Lua would ever need to call the hash code, but it's not gonna make any issues. And then I can just, again, call that helper function. Inserted them perfectly. And then again, I'll just copy and paste this to the last one, which is the statistic. This one is a bit more complicated. Okay, so what does this? It's based on the owner and the owner index and the stat index. So we actually have to test three things. So a dot owner type and a dot owner index. Oops, I put the semicolon too soon. I actually like to put and at the end of a line to make it more obvious that it continues. A dot stat index. Okay, I wonder if it will generate one for me for the not equals. So like I said, a type, index, and stat index. Yeah, this is pretty fancy. So it didn't actually generate the not equals for me. Which I'm a little surprised about, actually. So not equals here would be not or, and not equals and So this is actually a pretty useful thing to think about whenever you deal with Boolean variables or true-false values. That if you ever need to negate a large statement that has a bunch of ands in it, then one way you can make something equivalent is to reverse these and then change it to or. So sometimes that's useful in programming. Alright, so I think that's all I have to do. Delete that file now, definitely won't need it. Only other thing, I guess blocks kind of too. Okay, well I might as well just continue since I'm doing this. I want to just partially. I won't deal with the ability because it actually does not have anything. Or any data in it, is what I was trying to say. So board block. Okay, so yeah, this again is just a data index. And actually these prototypes do it as well. Or these prototypes also should have equality. Actually, now that I think about it, it kind of should have already done this for me. Or, I mean, this equals equals should have worked by default because the whole point of the Lua registry is that it always returns one object per monster or what have you. So I wonder if this was actually an issue or with a bigger problem, or how do I say it? A symptom of a bigger problem. But I think this will still be useful. I mean, for all I know, maybe Lua, because like in C#, if you don't have by default an equals equals or an equals function for any object, it will actually check to make sure the reference value between each object is the same. And sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. And so that's why I thought this equals equals wasn't working right, because even though these board positions technically are the same because they have, or logically are the same because they have the same numbers here, the game sees them as different objects because they have a different reference variable. But technically that was the job of the Lua registry to make sure that wouldn't happen, so I'm wondering if it was a bigger issue. Okay, so I'm missing a curly brace somewhere. That looks okay. I don't see any curly braces that are paired wrong. So error, a get or set access are expected. Let's see if I comment this out if the exception moves upwards. Sometimes you just have to reload. something here. I have get right there. What's the issue? Let's just retype it. Because it works fine without anything. So public rule alive, get, turn, database, oh it's battle actually. Battle monsters, data index dot alive. Okay, I have no idea what was wrong, but whatever. Okay, so now what should happen is what should happen is I move here, and then the after turn effect would notice I'm on this position, move me back. Let's see what's wrong here. Object reference not set to an instance and quality. Okay, so I need to check that neither of these are null, I guess. What's the call stack for that? Oh, it's the moon sharp thing. I wonder if A or B is null. Well, I guess if A was null, this wouldn't be called, would it? Let's see, if I comment this out. Oh, board block. Where do we even test equality for this? I guess it would be here because we test the prototype. I don't know. Let's fix this maybe. Wish it would have a way that we could generate. It would generate these things for us. It probably has a way, I just don't know it. Well, I can write it myself. So we want A does not equal null, and B does not equal null, and A dot data index equals B dot data index, and then A equals null or B equals null or so I'm probably gonna have to go through and do that for everything. But let's just make sure that that was the actual problem and we don't run into this again. Okay, well Unity just crashed. Interesting. So apparently Moonsharp does not like overriding the equals or something. I'll have to look into that. But actually I'm out of time, which is a bit unfortunate, so I guess we'll leave this on a cliffhanger. But yeah, that's, I guess, yeah, I'm really curious what that issue is. But anyway, so Monday is Labor Day, and I may not be able to stream that day because I think I'll have something going on, and maybe even Tuesday as well. But I'll be sure to post on my channel when the next stream will be, and I hope after next week I should be able to be really consistent, barring no more surprise hurricanes or natural disasters. But anyway, I'm glad I was able to stream once this week before the long weekend. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and especially a good long weekend for all Americans. And that's it from me tonight. Thanks for coming out and watching. If you missed some of this stream or any previous one, I will upload these all to YouTube, probably in the morning. And also, if you want to chat with me and other game developers and viewers, you can check out my YouTube channel, or not YouTube channel, Discord server. You can get to both by typing !Discord or YouTube in chat, or looking at the channel description. And I should be back Wednesday at the latest, around 8:30 Eastern, but hopefully Tuesday at least. And I hope to see you there. Again, have a great weekend and a great night. Bye-bye.